Welcome to The Bottom Line. Our guest is Grover Norquist, the president of Americans for Tax Reform. He's known as the tax pledge guy. Thank you for appearing on The Bottom Line.
Good to be with you.
What do you think of the latest Supreme Court decision regarding the Affordable Health Care Act?
Well, it's going to be a big game changer in the presidential election in November 2012. When Obama campaigned in 2008, the promise that he made more often than any other promise was that he would never allow a tax increase on anyone who earned less than $250,000 a year. Now we learn that the only thing that's really in Obamacare are a series of 20 tax increases. And their argument was it was constitutional because it wasn't a mandate, it was a collection of tax increases. So we have tax increases totaling somewhere between $600 and $800 billion over the next decade. In addition to that, we have...
Let me ask you a question. How does that affect the economy?
Not good, not well. And of course, one of the things everybody wonders about is why is job creation so slow now? Why are so few companies and businesses investing and hiring? One of the reasons is that they're threatened next month, next year, 2 years from now with a series of tax increases and spending requirements dealing with Obamacare taking over government-run health care. So the economy is scared of Obama's spending, Obama's taxes, of Obamacare, which is taxes and spending, and voters are reacting negatively to that, so we probably get a different president in 2013.
Can a 2,600-page Health Care Reform Act bill that requires thousands of pages of regulations remove the uncertainty about health care costs and requirements?
No, because the Republicans have announced that as soon as they have a majority in the House, the Senate, and the presidency, which is a very good chance that will all happen January of 2013, just 6 months from now, that they will abolish the entirety of Obamacare.
If you don't know what the regulations are, these thousands of pages of regulations that are required by the bill, how can there be certainty?
Well, there isn't certainty now. It could get much worse as all those regulations are written, or it could get much better if the Republicans win. So watch in November. In November, if the Republicans win the House, Senate, and presidency, there should be a dramatic increase in the stock market, a dramatic increase in hiring, a real turnaround in the economy because people realize the deadweight cost of Obamacare, the taxes and spending, will be lifted off the back of the American people.
As long as the businesses don't know what the regulations say, can there be uncertainty? Can there be certainty about what the law is?
Well, there isn't certainty because the regulations dealing with Obamacare take so many pages. Many of them aren't written yet. The whole idea of the government running health care clearly isn't going to work easily or simply. So there's going to be a lot of changes. If it's not abolished, it'll be constantly revisited, constantly rewritten, tremendous uncertainty in the American economy, unless on Election Day we know it's dead.
Does anybody actually really know what that bill says in those 2,600 pages and all those regulations that they've already started to make and the ones that are still to be made?
Probably not.
So isn't that the height of uncertainty when you don't know what the law is?
Yes.
So that's one of the major problems. All these people are talking about this decision removing uncertainty. It doesn't remove uncertainty.
Yeah. This decision removed one option, which was that it would all be struck down today. It will probably all be struck down in early January of next year. That's the most likely thing to happen, Republican House, Senate, and President. But if that doesn't happen, then we're in for a decade of question marks on the cost of health care.
Does the Constitution, specifically Section 8 of Article 1, the so-called enumerated powers clause, grant authority to the government to require citizens to buy health care, or does it say anything about health care?
I've read the Constitution. It doesn't give the federal government, the Constitution does not give the federal government any authority in health care, providing it, denying it, organizing it. 4 Supreme Court justices agreed with me and the Constitution, and 5 said somehow they have a rather expansive view of what the government's allowed to do.
Isn't this a clear example of judicial activism, or making something say something that isn't really being said in the statute, changing the explicit meaning of words that are in the statute from a penalty to a tax, and saying that it's really a tax, not a penalty? I mean, if the words of a statute don't mean something clear and specific, can the people really know what the statute says?
Now, we need a Supreme Court, don't have one yet, but we need a Supreme Court that will say, where in the Constitution does Congress or the President have the authority to do X? And if you don't have that authority, the answer is no, you can't do it. That, unfortunately, was done by 4, but not 5 or 6 of the judges the other day.
Well, thank you, Grover, for an interesting interview, and we hope you enjoyed the dinner.
Shall do. Thank you for having me. Take care.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Good?
Here is very good.